So this one is, let's call it Jesus Was a Jew. Now, straight away, this title is going to trigger an awful lot of people, particularly fans of the tiny German moustache man who fancy living in a police state. I want to make it really clear at the outset that this has got nothing to do with the current policies of a handful of psychopaths inside what's called the current Israeli government. This has got nothing to do with that at all. This is just some basic history for people. Now, there's a lot of individuals out there who are experts on the Bible who've never read it or have very strong opinions on the Bible, and they've never picked it up and read it. So what I'm going to do now is just show you at the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew, which is the first book of the New Testament. It actually outlines Jesus's genealogy. So yeah, this is chapter 1 of Matthew. So the ancestors of Jesus Christ. This is the list of the ancestors of Jesus Christ, a descendant of David, who was a descendant of Abraham. So who was Abraham? Well, Abraham is commonly accepted as the father of Judaism, and he was born 4,000 years before the birth of Jesus. And God promised to Abraham that he would become a father of a great nation. It continues, from Abraham to King David, the following ancestors are listed: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah and his brothers, then Perez and Zeriah, Hezron, Ram, etc. So who are some of these people? Well, Isaac is a central figure in the Torah, and the Torah it's basically the first 5 books of the Old Testament. And Isaac was the son of Abraham. King David, he united the 12 tribes of Israel under a single monarch. And David was the guy that beat Goliath, the giant. Maybe Goliath was one of the kind of offspring of the Nephilim. And King David established Jerusalem as the capital of the Jewish state. Jacob, he was the son of Isaac, and he's also featured quite heavily in the book of Genesis, the first book of the Old Testament. So you can see here, it just goes on from David to the time when the people of Israel were taken into exile in Babylon. The following ancestors are listed: David, Solomon, blah, 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 blah. From the time after the exile in Babylon to the birth of Jesus, the following ancestors are listed. So then there are 14 generations from Abraham to David, and 14 from David to the exile in Babylon, and 14 from then to the birth of the Messiah. So you can see here, like it or not, that Jesus has a Jewish genealogy. During his time with us, Jesus was also an expert on the Torah. He knew it inside out. And there's also evidence as well in the Bible of things that Jesus said that supported that he was a Jew. So an example is in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. So Jesus said, "Do not think that I've come to do away with the law of Moses." Moses was a Jew, obviously, and the teachings of the prophets, the Jewish prophets. I have not come to do away with them, but to make their teachings come true. Now, a thing that many people struggle with, even today, is that they associate the formal, organised church with the real thing. So if you actually understand Christianity and you've read the Bible, you'll understand how the modern Church of England with Justin Welby, their beliefs are completely out of kilter with what's in the Bible. And the same was true in Jesus's day. So Jesus was a critic of the Jewish religious leaders of his day, of the Pharisees. But that didn't mean that he wasn't a Jew. He was still advocating the Torah. He still preached what was in the Torah, particularly the importance of the 10 Commandments. So people will say that when Jesus referred to the synagogue of Satan, he was referring to the entire Jewish religion. That's not true. What he was referring to was the corruption of Judaism by the organized church of its day. That's what he was referring to. No doubt if Jesus was amongst us today, he would also refer to the Church of England as being the church of Satan. Finally, the final bit of evidence here is that Jesus was also referred to as a Jew by other people, both at the beginning and end of his life. So at the beginning of his life, you had King Herod, he basically said, go out and find me this boy who will become the king of the Jews. Herod being the guy that wanted to, he actually murdered all the babies in that part of the world at that time, hoping to kill Jesus. And then at the end of his life, Pontius Pilate, who was the Roman governor of Jerusalem, he also referred to Jesus as being the King of the Jews. So that's in Matthew 27 verse 11, if you want to look that up for yourself. So just to finish off with, this is just, I don't know, I suppose you could call this like just information drawn from the Bible. And it's designed to kind of counter this view of people who have never read the Bible, who kind of think that Jesus wasn't a Jew, that Jesus hated Jews. Nothing further could be from the truth. Yeah, and again, I'm really sorry to have to point this out, but this has got nothing to do with the Israeli government. You know, it's, yes, Jesus was a Jew, but that's got nothing to do with a handful of psychopaths like Netanyahu and what he's been doing in Israel. You know, that would be like blaming an ordinary British person for the actions of the British government. It's just like dumb to do that. You know, you wouldn't like to be blamed for 1.5 million Iraqis killed by the British government just because you've got a British passport. So yeah, that's all I want to say today. So God bless.